I sincerely ask you to subscribe to Tales Nameless, as your support is a huge motivation for me to keep telling the scariest horror stories. Chernobyl. A name as haunting as a scar carved deep into the history of mankind. A place that once symbolized progress, now nothing more than desolation, cold, and an eerie silence. They say that place died in 1986. That no one survived. That nothing moves anymore. Only weeds, cracked concrete, and radioactive dust. But what if I told you, something still lingers? Sounds no one dares to trace. Rooms that stay cold, even in the middle of summer. Recurring dreams, of people who've never been there. I went. I saw. I heard. And what I'm about to tell you, is not urban legend. Not a ghost story told at midnight. This is 26 reports, real ones. Captured with my eyes, my ears, and a fear I still can't shake off. Each episode, you'll walk with me into another layer of truth. And with every step, you'll sink deeper into unsolvable mysteries. Science can't explain them. Logic refuses to accept them. Are you ready? Because from this moment on, you're not just watching a journey. You're going back, into the dead zone. Episode 1, First Steps into the Dead Zone. I knew exactly what I was doing when I decided to step into the dead zone. This wasn't some reckless act by a dreamer or a click-hungry YouTuber. I'm Ukrainian. I grew up with stories about Pripyat, the forgotten city. When I was a child, my grandmother used to tell me about the night the entire town was evacuated. No warning. No turning back. The buses that carried away the children never returned. I started this project as a way to collect memories, not to tell ghost stories, but to speak of what was truly left behind. Our team is small, but we work well together. Anton used to do post-production for war documentaries. Illya is quiet, obsessed with audio gear, always carries 3 backup recorders. And Katya, she doesn't believe in the supernatural. But she has an eye for things that just feel wrong. Right before we crossed the perimeter checkpoint, Illya patted my shoulder and whispered, "If you're looking for demons, this place might not have them. But it has something worse." The silence. I didn't understand then. But I remember every word now. Underscore 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 on. The first tick, tick, from the Geiger counter made me freeze. Not because of radiation, we had all the right protective gear. But because, the sound didn't match the radiation map. The area around Pripyat should have stabilized by now, nearly clean compared to the disaster era. But the devices kept screaming. The frequency spiked erratically. Katya thought it was faulty equipment, but we had 3 devices, 3 people, standing in 3 different spots. All gave the same alarm. We tried recording the static. Illya frowned, then chuckled. Sounds like some kind of Morse code, but incomplete. Like someone's trying to send a broken signal. I'm not joking, I felt a chill crawl down my spine. Not from fear, but from something stranger. The dead zone was speaking. At first, Katya's sighting of a figure on the 5th floor felt like just a blip. But when we reviewed the footage, one thing stood out. The curtain was pulled to the side, then dropped. Slowly. Deliberately. In a city with no people, no wind, no motion. That was something we couldn't explain. Underscore 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 on. Apartment 501 still smelled human. I don't know how else to say it, but stepping inside, I felt watched. There were no signs of recent life. No food. No blankets. But something was there. A photo on the table wasn't just strange because it existed, but because there wasn't a speck of dust on it. In a room filled with ash, cobwebs, a velvet-like dust covering everything. That single photograph was pristine. As if someone had just placed it there yesterday. The voice in Illya's headphones made everyone freeze. Even after replaying the recording, we couldn't fully decipher it. We only caught fragments. Asterisk, I stayed here, don't leave, asterisk. We compared the voice to everything in our archives, no match. It was real. Recent. Captured live. But from where? When I paused the frame of Katya standing in the mirror, I knew we had entered dangerous territory. The angle captured the eyes of a woman staring directly at the lens. Unblinking. Pale skin, lifeless expression, like a passport photo. Anton watched the footage, stood up, and began packing the gear. No one said it aloud. But we all felt it. Something was terribly wrong. That night, Illya was unusually silent. He kept replaying the woman's voice through his headphones. Around 2 a.m., I saw him sitting outside the tent, staring at Building 503, the one directly across from 501. By morning, he was gone. Our GoPro captured Illya entering the building, and then, nothing. No return. No radio signal. No sound. No trace. That building wasn't even on our exploration schedule. None of our maps had any interior layout for it. We split up to search. For the first time since we started, Katya trembled. Anton said nothing, he just kept checking the battery levels and radio frequencies. But something was off. Every time we pointed the antenna toward 503, the devices clicked wildly and played warped radio noise. Like someone screaming, underwater. I replayed Illya's audio file. In the background, you could hear something, part dripping water, part labored breathing. But it wasn't from Illya. The breath was far too close to be his. Then we saw it. On the second floor of Building 503. A figure behind the glass. We couldn't see the face, but it looked like Illya. I shouted. Katya ran toward it. But the door was locked. Anton pounded until his hands bled. But no one answered. The figure never moved. Just stood there. Then slowly slipped back into the dark. Underscore 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 on. We returned immediately to Building 503. The iron door was freezing. Inside, pitch black. No response, even with speakers, lights, or vibrating signals. After nearly 3 hours of searching, nothing. We tried contacting base support, but the signal dropped every time the dish aimed at 503. The strangest part? When I stood nearby, the Geiger counter stopped reading radiation and started emitting distorted sounds, like an old radio sending out a broken transmission. I didn't tell the team, but I believe the female voice from the recording was calling Illya into that building. And then I remembered the name written behind the old photograph. Zina Morozova. That name doesn't appear in any official victim list from the disaster, but in the internal documents I was given access to, she's listed as a missing inspection technician, last seen April 27, 1986. She vanished. And now, so did Illya. Katya didn't sleep that night. Anton set up motion sensors around the camp. As for me, I replayed all the footage from the past 4 days. And in one glitched frame, at a strange camera angle, I saw that Illya didn't go in alone. Just before he stepped into 503, a woman's hand took his. From the shadows, a hand, cold, pale, waxy, but very real. Underscore 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 on. They say what's dead can't come back. But what if something never truly died? What if those spirits never left? Illya is missing, but I believe he's still in Pripyat. And to find him, we must go deeper into the technical basement, the place that once housed the test reactor core. Episode 2, Footsteps that belong to no one. will take you to a place where every step might be your last. Will you dare return to the dead zone with us? Megaphone comment below. What creeped you out the most in this episode? And share any Chernobyl stories you've heard that no one else talks about. Like, subscribe, and brace yourself. The dead zone still hides many secrets.